Hey, what is going on, my beautiful sewing family? So sorry for the brief hiatus. I have missed you guys, and I am back. And I've got a lot of new awesome sewing projects and tips to share with you guys. So without further ado, let's get back into the shindig, shall we? Now, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Now, today we're getting back into it strong, and we are talking about stretch piping. So last year I got commissioned to make, quite honestly, one of the coolest costumes that I've made to date, and for one of my favorite clients. This is actually the Black Widow variant costume number 6 from the 2001 comic book. And honestly, this costume is really awesome. We did have a couple of concerns when we got into this costume, and that was that we live in the middle of Vegas heat. So vinyl and heat don't mix very well. So we decided to make the base of the costume sleeveless with like a bolero style jacket over the top of it. And the other thing was this costume had round piping all over it, and the two fabrics I was working with actually stretched. So I had to put on my thinking cap and come up with some stretch piping, and here's what I came up with. So I'm working with my two favorite fabrics. This is a jumbo spandex and a faux leather fabric. And this has stretch to it, so I needed bias tape that stretched. And I could not find any for the life of me, so I had to get creative. Okie doke, so I looked everywhere to find stretchable piping. I don't know if it doesn't exist or if I just can't find it. So for all of you sewing enthusiasts, this is how I came up with this idea. This is stretch vinyl fabric. So what I did is I actually took and I straightened out this edge and I cut the fabric. So this is your selvage edges. This is the manufactured edge that has like the perforated holes. I usually cut that off when I get my fabric, but I cut a 1-inch strip all the way the full length of this fabric that looks like this. And this is what I'm actually going to use for the casing for the piping. Now, it depends on how thick you want your core or how big you want your piping to be. I only want mine to be maybe 3/16 of an inch. So, like I said, I only cut maybe 1 inch of the thickness right here. I tried it with 1 1/4 and it was way too much. So I figured that 1 inch would be good. You might have to mess around with this. So then for the core, I actually cut out another strip, but with this one, I actually only cut it out at, I think, a 1/2 of an inch. Okay, so here's the cool part. Once you have all of your stuff cut out, with spandex fabric, when you pull it, like really taut, it actually curls. So I'm going to show you real quick here. This is my 1/2 an inch one. And all I did is I just stretched the this fabric, which can be kind of hard on the fingers. But once you start stretching it, bam, there is your core for your piping. Isn't that cool? And you can actually use this for laces and your corsets or, you know, whatever you need. Okay, so just to show you real quick, I did have to mess around with this a little bit. What I did is I did not put the core in there yet, but I stitched the folded over piping casing and I attached it to one side and then I added the other side. So then you have this part on the right side of the fabric and it's flat. And you can leave it that way or you can add the core. So because I want this to have more of a rounded, like true piping look, what I do is I take my alligator hemostats. You can actually buy these through Amazon, or I think you can get them on eBay too. And I just slide this through the center, and because it's a stretch fabric, it will allow me to grab the edge of my core and pull it through. And there you have your stretchable piping made from home. Saved some money, had to spend a little extra time, but overall I love the way that it turned out.